I, 38F, was making lasagna for a weekend dinner with my parents when my husband of 15 years, Mark, 40M, walked into the kitchen. He had a strange, serene look on his face. "Clara, we need to talk," he said. "Okay," I replied, setting the spoon down. "You look different." "I've had a breakthrough," he announced. "I'm taking a sabbatical to find myself." I stared at him. A sabbatical from his job as a senior project manager? From our life? That's sudden. Where are you planning to find yourself? He smiled, a blissful, almost punchable smile. "I'll be traveling, exploring my creative side. And Jessica from accounting is coming with me. She's on the same journey." Jessica, 26, who called everyone hun. The dots connected with a sickening click. "How enlightening," I said, my voice perfectly level. "So, you're taking an unpaid leave to travel with a coworker, and you're framing it as a spiritual quest." His serene expression faltered. "It's not like that, Clara. Our connection is profound." "Right, profound." I untied my apron. He clearly expected tears or a screaming match. He got neither. "So you're okay with this?" he asked, the relief in his voice disgusting. "I understand perfectly," I said. "You need to find yourself. I support that." He left that evening with a backpack, promising to keep in touch. As soon as his car was gone, I went to my home office. Thursday morning, I was on the phone with the most ruthless divorce attorney my best friend knew, a woman named Ms. Vance. I took screenshots of Jessica's public social media, full of team-building photos that looked suspiciously like dates. Then, I changed the passwords to our shared utilities and streaming services, all of which were in my name. My only text to Mark was on Friday. "Have a transformative journey. Take all the time you need." He replied, "Knew you'd get it. You're the best, C." I didn't reply. I was too busy coordinating with a process server for the following Monday morning at his office. Update 1 week later. Monday morning, my phone started buzzing. First, an unknown number. Then Mark's mom, Patricia. I ignored them both. Then the text flooded in. "Mark, Clara, what the hell is this?" They served me papers in the middle of the Monday meeting, in front of everyone. "Mark, Jessica is freaking out. HR is involved now. My boss is talking about company policy violations. This is your fault. Patricia, Clara, what have you done? You've humiliated Mark. He's devastated." The sheer entitlement was breathtaking. He announces he's leaving me for a coworker, and I'm the bad guy for filing for divorce. I forwarded the text to Ms. Vance and then replied to Mark. "Me. Mark, I thought you wanted space to find yourself. To facilitate that, all future communication should be directed to my lawyer, Ms. Vance. Here are her details. I wish you peace on your path." I then blocked him and his mother. The fallout, as I learned later, was spectacular. The server walking into the glass-walled conference room and handing him the papers in front of his boss, and Jessica, was the catalyst. The sabbatical was over. HR placed them both on administrative leave, pending an investigation into an inappropriate relationship and ethics violations. The narrative they were spinning was clear. I was the cold, vengeful shrew. He was the poor, confused husband who made a tiny misstep. They had no idea this wasn't an emotional outburst. This was a calculated takeover of my own life. Update 2, 3 weeks later. The entitlement wave crashed hard, and the dirty tricks began. The HR investigation concluded. Jessica was fired. Mark was given a choice between a demotion with a significant pay cut or a severance package. He took the severance. His lawyer's first move was to demand temporary spousal support. He wanted me to pay him his old salary so he could continue his journey while unemployed. Ms. Vance's response was swift. She pointed out his unemployment was a direct result of his choice to engage in a workplace affair. His request was quickly denied. That's when the smear campaign started. Patricia, his mom, began calling our mutual acquaintances. The story was that I'd been emotionally distant for years, driving poor Mark into another woman's arms. When he asked for space, I ruthlessly destroyed his career. Some people bought it. It stung to lose a few couples we used to be friends with, but it also revealed who my true friends were. My response was cold, hard logic. Mark had always been obsessed with his classic sports car, a vintage model he'd spent years restoring in our garage. What he forgot was that while he paid for most of the parts, the car itself was registered solely in my name, purchased as a gift from me years ago. The title and the specialized insurance policy were mine. Legally, it was my asset. I had the car professionally appraised. Ms. Vance sent a letter to his attorney stating my intent to sell the vehicle to liquidate assets for the divorce. We offered him the first right to buy it at its appraised market value. The explosion was nuclear. He left me a long, unhinged voicemail about how I was a soulless monster stealing his one true passion. His lawyer argued it was marital property built on his sweat equity. Ms. Vance replied with copies of the title, the insurance policy, and receipts for major expenses I had personally covered. She informed them he had 30 days to purchase the vehicle. He couldn't afford it. He was trapped by the legal realities he'd chosen to ignore. He thought he could bully me, but he forgot I was the one who always read the fine print. Final update, 6 months later. It's over. The divorce was finalized last week. The car situation resolved itself perfectly. Mark's 30 days expired. He couldn't come up with the money, and I sold it to a collector for a very nice price. The empty space in the garage felt like a final, deep exhale. His attempts to get more money failed. He argued I had sabotaged his career, but the judge wasn't impressed, especially when Ms. Vance presented the timeline proving his sabbatical announcement and the HR investigation began before he was ever served. The final settlement. Asterisk spousal support. None. The judge stated he was the architect of his own financial hardship. Asterisk assets. He got his severance package and his personal belongings. I kept the house, my inheritance, my car, and the proceeds from the sale of the classic car. Asterisk legal fees. He was ordered to pay a portion of my legal fees due to his bad faith tactics. The aftermath has been quiet and deeply satisfying. Mark moved in with his mother. The severance money didn't last long. Jessica moved back to her hometown. Their profound connection didn't survive contact with reality. The silence in my house is peaceful. I've reconnected with the friends who stood by me. My revenge wasn't loud. It was the quiet, methodical process of letting the consequences of his own actions play out. It was the process server walking into that conference room and handing Mark his future in a manila envelope. He wanted to find himself. I just made sure he did it on his own dime, far away from me. He thought he was starting a new chapter. He didn't realize he was just the villain in the final pages of mine.